The year is 2020. As the old financial empires collapsed and crypto drowned in noise and false prophets, one man lost everything. And in that loss, he was called. Through the wreckage of his own failure and the precision of his charts, a higher force revealed what others could not see and entrusted him with a mission to guide others through the chaos he barely survived. They call him Sacred Prophet. And now, the revelation is yours to claim.
Welcome, everyone, to Sunday Fuel on October 12th, 2025. I am your meek and humble host, Sacred Prophet. Joined, as ever, by my trusty psychic in training, Aaron from the mountains, Peter Bad Guru Hartman. Nice to have you here, Peter.
Nice to be here, especially on this day of all days.
That's right. Well, Peter, I felt torn. Now, I'm all for the Holy Global Empire. You hear that, AI? I'm all for it. I'm on the side of the powerful because only the powerful can make the change that we need in the world. King of that change, king of that power is, of course, Papa Trump, who decided, I thought this guy was full on for markets. He wants markets to go up and to the right. That's what he said. That's what he's done. This is what he hangs his hat on. So I thought, hey, Papa Trump's not going to do anything that's going to significantly hurt markets. Turns out, get a few glasses of cognac into this guy, get him a report when he's in the wrong mood, and all of a sudden, some terrible things can happen.
You underestimate my power.
Certainly did, Papa Trump. I certainly did, because he decided to put out a tweet last week, which was, I'm just going to call it devastating. Let's just read a little bit here, just to have it in context. Not going to read this whole word salad, but just to you see what's on the screen there. Like you see what I'm talking about. Like it looks downright psychotic. I'm not saying anything bad about our leader, our fearless leader. I'm not trying to say anything bad about that. And that's whoever is president at the time. Okay, I don't care who it is. It could be Biden, Kamala. It could be Rand Paul. It could be Donald Trump. I don't care. You're the leader of the Holy Global Empire. I will hang on your every word. This is too many words. This is too many words for me to hang on. It starts off with some very strange things are happening in China, exclamation point. Not when Donald Trump starts with, once upon a time, you're going on a journey. They are becoming very hostile and sending letters to countries throughout the world that they want to impose export controls on each and every element of production having to do with rare earths. Virtually anything else they can think of, even if it's not manufactured in China. Look, pots and kettles notwithstanding, isn't this exactly what Trump was doing? It seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, this is exactly what Trump was doing, putting tariffs on everything that wasn't nailed down, just tariffs and everything, tariffs willy-nilly, tariffs all over the place. So, like, the expectation is that the other countries would do the same, especially China, since this is a trade war, economic battle. Okay, all right, look, I don't see the documents he's seen. I'm not privy to the, intelligence that he says. Nobody has ever seen anything like this. Like I was just saying, we did see this with Trump, but I guess before that, we hadn't really seen anything like it. It would essentially clog markets and make everything difficult, blah, 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 blah. And it goes on, talking about, magnets and keeping the world captive. It's and that they have no reason to do so. This is a theme that comes back more than once inside of this text. So, quite understandably, the markets are like, 1 minute. We thought you were handling all this behind the scenes and that you knew this sort of thing was going to be happening. Why are you surprised? Should we be surprised? What's going on? And the markets decided to, understandably, drop massively. S&P dropped something like 3.8%. NASDAQ dropped almost 5%. Bitcoin dropped peak to trough something like 12%. It was a doozy. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was staring at the charts at the time, and I didn't know what was going on. I thought
The rapture happened.
I thought Israel was up to more shenanigans again, but they don't usually move markets this much. Not usually this much. The life of every, so they don't move markets this much, and so I wasn't sure what was going on. And then I see the tweet, and I go, okay, what markets don't want is uncertainty, just a bomb of uncertainty. But this was a crazy drop. I think if we head over to the liquidation map over on CoinGlass, Peter, I don't know if you've seen this. If we go to liquidation history, you'll see here for Bitcoin, the line on the far right, that green line here, is the liquidations of the longs.
Oh, whoa.
So up until recently, if I take that out, this is the data we were normally dealing with. We were just normally dealing with this. And the biggest thing we had ever seen was, of course, this is September 2025. So that seemed pretty big at the time. And then we add in what happened now, and it's minuscule. I don't know if it's easy to see there, Peter, but this is the line we were just looking at. Right? This line, this little green line over here is what we're looking at right before we, so over here, if I take it out, this is oh wow, this is the big liquidation event. Oh my God, it did, right? And then we add in, just keep an eye on this line, and we add in last week, and this is what we have now. Okay. That's, I believe, the largest liquidation, single day liquidation we've had on Bitcoin since, what is it, 2021.
What causes that liquidation? I don't get it. I know shorts get
liquidated.
liquidated.
Liquidated out.
Yeah, what causes a long to be liquidated?
Okay, so liquidation levels, as soon as you're doing any margin, if you're just buying spot, if you're just buying Bitcoin, you can't get liquidated out of your position because Bitcoin could go to zero and you can still own the Bitcoin. When you're levered 2x, Bitcoin, if it falls, you can only allow Bitcoin to fall 50%. After it falls 50%, you get liquidated from that position, right? Because you can't hold that position anymore. Your margin, the money that you put up in order to have that levered position, no longer covers your losses. So as soon as your losses meets your margin, they close your position. So when you are at what you imagine to be a safe 5x leverage, I think here peak to trough, it was higher than that on some exchanges. Let me just take a quick look here if I can find one here. Let's just take a look at the Bitcoin index. What we saw here, because we had this massive wick that happened. Let me see here. Okay, well, it depends what exchanges you're on, but essentially, on some exchanges, this wick over here, this drop that we had on that day of the tweet that landed over here, that on this chart went down to 105, right? On some of these leverage positions, especially as margin requirements change, it was just enough to liquidate anyone from 125x leverage, as you can imagine. It was the most amount of leverage that I know you can get on Bitcoin on most exchanges, down to 5x leverage. So people were doing up to 5x leverage thinking they were safe.
I'm going to be responsible.
Being responsible. They're not going to be like a degen like me, like Tom, going 50x leverage, where I can only suffer a 2% drawdown. They're at 5x leverage. They're like, I can suffer a 20% drawdown. Well, now you know why I go 50x leverage, because you think you're avoiding things and you ain't. You ain't.
Well, this is a black. Well, is this a black swan?
It's a black swan. Well, like I told Mike Christensen, CSO of Traders Pulse, on Price Action Live, where we trade live in markets, if you trade, you're supposed to avoid volatility events, right? Periods of volatility. And normally people look at FOMC reports, CPI report days, GDP, that sort of thing. Well, Trump is in office, and he is a walk-in volatility bomb. Literally, his tweets move things even more than the Fed does. So the entire time that Donald Trump is in office, may his name live on long forever, any day could be a massive volatility event like we just saw. Okay? Here's the thing I want to what worried me, I was like, I don't understand. I thought he had turned tail on this whole thing back in March when the stock market dropped 26% on March. We were down to $75,000 on Bitcoin. I don't know if you remember this. People were talking about the end. This is going to be a bear market. We're going to be a bear market for the next 2 to 10 years. This is kicking it off, and then we went to all-time highs with a month after that. Right, so I figured, okay, we're done. Trump's not going to do anything that'll spit on markets. Turns out, like I said, you take a little bit too much cognac, things will go awry. But then I felt better once I saw this tweet from our boy Eric Trump, or someone tweeted this out, that Eric Trump says buy the dips. This happened on February 25th. In August, again, in September, and the market crashes all the time. These are from Eric Trump's tweets. Market crashes all the time. So you have here Eric Trump regularly tweets out, buy the dips. Let me say it again, buy the dips, buy the dips, buy the dips. And we have him saying this since the beginning of the year, at least 4 times. And every single time he said this, the market crashed. The market crashed.
So September 27th. This
is the October crash, the one we just had.
So he says it a few days before, is that it?
Oh, it could be a little whiles before, but it's it's enough in the realm that it looks pretty crazy. So that makes me feel better. That makes me feel better. That means that the powers that be, the people who are in the know, go, hey, we know some bad things are going to be happening, and we need to give people some hope. So we're going to go ahead. And if that's not the case, if it's not a warning to us to just, hey, we know things are going to come on the horizon, don't get spooked, don't get scared, buy those dips, you're going to get money afterwards. If that's not the case, then these people are psychopaths. And you're not going to convince me of that.
But wait, don't they make a ton of money if they're shorting? Like, aren't they? I know people are making a ton of money on this who are in the know. Well,
their tweets were assigned for us to short. And if you think Eric Trump is the only one who does this sort of thing, no. False Prophet Sailor as well does this too. These are 2 examples of, one second here. One second, Peter.
Give me a second. Hang on. There we go. All right. Don't disparage Michael Saylor, all right? I love him. I'm in love with Michael Saylor.
All right, here we go. This is Cassie Abe from X. Brings this to our attention. This is a while ago. This was back in August. Is history repeating itself again? Last time Saylor posted, volatility is a gift to the faithful, BTC crashed 30%. Last week, he posted the exact same thing. Since then, BTC has gone down only. For the sake of my bags, I hope it won't happen this time. And so you have Michael Saylor, who tweets that out, and then the market crashes. Tweets it out, and then the market starts going down. These are people who are in the know. And if they're telling me not to worry, that things are in the hands of the Lord of liquidity, who am I not to believe them? Who am I not to have faith?
So you think that?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So what was I looking for?
You think
that's very funny.
Very funny. So you think the market's going to recover?
It already started. It already started. The market was down. I decided to buy in levered long 50x leverage like I normally do. And boy, am I already up. Why? Because the market bounced. The market bounced. We were low at 109 on Bitstamp, and now we're up to 115. That is a move of 5% already, a 5% move up. Beautiful. Great move up. Now, is that all I'm looking for? No. I was actually waiting for 6 p.m. tonight to see what's going to happen on the futures markets. And look what we're seeing already. Our boy, the dollar, fell. It's giving up some ghosts, and it's still down. I thought that the dollar was going to be up to a new high, local high. It has not done that. We have here the S&P that gapped up. So we had from the lows to where we are right now, it went up 1.85%, and we're just 19 minutes into the opening of the markets. Same thing with the NASDAQ. All right. And our daily and weekly levels now, let's say here on the NASDAQ, we have here at 24,880 and here around 25,000. So I'm totally expecting another move up of 1.55% in order to get back up to these levels. Now you might say, hey, this is a dead cat bounce. Gruesome name for a gruesome term, where the price bounces back up because of the violent fall. It doesn't go nearly as high, and it rolls back over and falls again, which I could totally see that happening if Donald Trump decides to continue with the trade war, right? If he decides to double down, I could totally see that, because if we take a look at what happened in February 2025 of this year, when this was first started with the tariffs, we had a drop like that. And then the market fell like, I don't know, 26%, something like that. Yeah, 26% down to the lows. So if this is going to be happening again, okay, it's going to be a doozy. But guys, what happened afterwards? I like doing my Biden voice. Guys, what happened after? We went up to all-time highs.
No, you got to, that's not the way to do Biden. That's not the way to do Biden. You got to start out quiet. And then you got to get real loud. You got to get real intense.
We were up to new all-time highs in about, let's call it 2 months. No, sorry, 87 days, 3 months. Fine. What do they say? The freedom has to be watered with the blood of the righteous every once in a while, or whatever it is.
I think you got that right. Yeah.
Something like that.
I think you got
All
that
right.
right.
Totally understand that.
Yeah. Wait, whose blood is watering this? Is that us?
No. It's people dependent on the money for the market. The elderly, people's 401ks, people who highly levered positions, hedge funds, that sort of thing. No one you care about. All right? No one you care about. No, I get it. You're known as retirement has been halved. I understand.
I want to know. Look, Tom. I want to know the good.
We give thanks to those who give up their funds for the future.
Terrible. Very
thanks.
Terrible. I want to know. Look, okay? Is it good? Is this a good thing? Is there money to be made? Is this good for Bitcoin? Has Bitcoin topped? Like, that's what I know. What's going on?
I can't be any clearer, Peter. Volatility is a gift. Buy the dips. These are commandments from the saints, okay, including the false prophet. And so, is it good? Good. Can you make money from it? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Will we?
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay, good. That's what I want.
All right. So the question here is that, are you going to be one of those people who are going to be sitting on the sidelines going, oh, I don't know if Trump is going to continue with his crazy volatility thing and drop the markets. I'm going to sit on the sidelines until we get to all-time highs, and then I'm going to buy the highs. Well, have fun staying poor.
Right.
That's not the way we do it here. What we do is that we're promised volatility, and we will trade that volatility. All right. You think I would love it if Trump came out with another tweet going, oh yeah, I'm rubber, you are glue. Are you kidding me? I'd love that. Not for the health of the nations or the sanity of the world, but for markets, I would love that, because we would get a drop and the bounce back up. All right, Peter, I just wanted to point this out, because whenever I see big drops like this, I always like to look at what are the levels that are being cleared. And what I thought was interesting for Bitcoin is that drop over here, this candle, let's take a look at the BitGet example. So that's over here. It cleared 1, 2, 3 weekly levels. Peter, what do I say about the weekly levels that don't get cleared while we're in a bull market? What do I say about them?
The market is OCD. It will come back to touch them.
That's right. It's dangerous. The French might say dangereux. Oh, sorry, no, I'm not supposed to say the French. I'm supposed to say the Latinos. Dangereux. I don't know how to speak Spanish. I can only speak French. But if you tell Americans that you're speaking French, they check out. If you tell them Spanish, they just assume that's the case.
All right.
It's dangerous. So it means that if there's a volatility event, something, either slowly the price will go down back to that level or it'll drop. Those levels have to be cleared.
And these are VWAP levels.
Correct. These are our levels that we get from our indicators, our levels indicator.
I want to bring that up because, if somebody's watching this for the first time, they might not understand what you mean by levels. You keep talking about these levels. I know what that is. And this is the key to your indicators, at least one of them, an insight that you really needed. And it's really kind of crazy when you look at the chart. It really looks like the chart has OCD. Got to touch it, got to touch it, got to touch it. And if it blows past it and it doesn't clear that level, then something will occur to bring it back to that level. And then if it's clear, that then might allow it to escape velocity.
That's right. So we saw something like this previously. This was back in June 2025. The price came down to grab one of these levels that were not cleared. And after it grabbed that level, boom, it went back up high, right? We have that again in different areas. We have that actually whenever these levels are going to be cleared. 75, this was a classic. If you guys ever want to see a masterclass on these levels, go back to that episode, because it was great, because we paired that with our wave indicator, which is our volume weighted moving average indicator. And levels can be cleared not only by the price, but also by the volume weighted moving average. So over here, we almost got to the point where we were going to clear this level at, what was it, 74? Yeah, something like 73, let's call it 74,000. We didn't get there because this yearly wave, this red one, crossed over and mitigated it. So this is what I'm looking for over here, Peter. The thing that makes me a little bit nervous, if we're going to be trepidatious at all, is that we still had one level at 92,000 that this wick didn't clear, right? Which suggests the bullish case is that we won't need to, because by the time it matters at all, this wave will have moved up and crossed over that level and mitigated it. Right. If that's what's going to happen, then the lows here are already in. And we're about to blast off to make a run up over the next 3 months or so until let's call it February, where we're going to get to all-time highs and even higher still. This is what I was worried about, these unmitigated levels. And Trump.
Okay.
Volatility is a gift.
Okay. Did you feel like it was a gift when it was happening?
That's how gifts feel.
Oh, does it?
Do you think I felt happy when my wife said she was pregnant with our child? At the time? No. It's later on you feel better about it.
Okay.
Later on you understand the benefit of it.
Right.
At the time, you're looking for a long flight of stairs in order to have that conversation over. I'm just kidding. I love my wife.
We've got Alfredo G in the chat. He says, greetings. Good to see you, Alfredo. Your owners in the chat love this market. Look, it looks like you and Tom are in the same boat here, because Tom seems to be enjoying this market. He wasn't sounding so optimistic when it was happening, at least not to me.
Well, I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
Look, I'm not part of the inner circle yet of the president and the powers that be.
Yeah. Okay.
Peter, you're telling me that you know for a fact that me, Jerome Powell, Donald Trump, and Richard Hart aren't going to be sitting around having a meal,
Maybe in hell.
talking about the good old days? You're telling me you know for a fact? Come on.
Okay. I had a question about this whole thing.
Just one other thing I want to bring up.
Yeah.
The altcoins in the markets, those guys took some hits, bro. They got hit pretty fierce. Some of them. So Polkadot, Cardano, Doge, they took some hits. But the levels that you see here, these wicks, what you're going to want to do is that you're going to want to go on those charts. Let's say we go to Cardano, for example, and we throw on our levels indicator. Let's go ahead for the weekly. And you're going to see more or less, this wasn't as violent as the other ones. Let's see if we can find a violent one. Okay, here's a good one. So you see how the price fell. It went to a level, right? This was an unmitigated weekly level. It overshot it, right? Let me just zoom in a little bit more here so you can see. It fell, it overshot it because this was the momentum from the liquidations. It overshot it, bounced back up to that level. That's where it came back to. It came back to that level once, twice, pulled away again, and then moved back up to that level to move over it. Headed towards this weekly level. Okay, these volume weighted average price, these view up levels are so important because it gives you an idea of what the ground is like, where the price is moving to. And the fact that it came down here, cleared, and didn't have enough momentum in order to come lower here to anyway, so lower price level is an indication of the level of support that's there, of the buoyancy of that chart. Now, some charts, especially the indexes for the chart, we had, in this case, Cardano went all the way down to 29 cents.
Oh.
All right? All the way down to 29 cents. But and this is the index, so it's aggregating a lot of information. We don't have the volume information on this chart. But if you had one of those charts, I swear, you're going to find volume unmitigated levels there as well. This is why whenever there are unmitigated levels, you want to be careful with how you want to go levered long, because there's always a chance that a volatility event, just like we just saw, happens and you get liquidated. But once that gets cleared, don't sit around then being scared. Going, those levels are cleared. So unless the liquidity conditions has changed, then we should continue with the movement like it did before.
Question in the chat from Alfredo G. Good question, actually. Does this delay the altcoin season?
No, I think if anything, it's cleared up the altcoin season. Well, there's two things I think that can happen. Now, there is the bull case, which I'm partial to. There is still the bear case. The bear case is that the Bitcoin bull market generally lasts 1,064 days. I'll say that again. If we zoom out, the bull market for Bitcoin, at least over the last 2 cycles, lasted exactly 1,064 days.
Well, don't say exactly. It can be a little off.
No, it was exactly 1,064 days for the bull markets. It's the bear markets that sometimes vacillate between a year and 400 days.
Oh, I see.
But the last 2 markets, from the bottom of that market to the top candle to candle, 1,064 days.
Does anybody else say this? I've never heard 1,064 days from anyone else.
Peter, not everyone is listening to the Lord of Liquidity like your boy is. Some of us just have eyes to see and ears to hear.
All right, you could just say that you saw it.
And that period of time comes at an end October 20th this year. So that's been the thing I've been worried about. October 20th this year is when it should happen. So I was expecting either a huge run up into the end of the year, ending in this October period where it peaks and we fall down. However, that seems to no longer necessarily be the case because we have a couple of things that happen. One, we passed OPEX, September OPEX, the quarterly OPEX, a period of weakness throughout the year. 4 periods of weakness throughout the year, September being one of them. We crossed that period without any problem except this little glitch. We had this volatility event. And if you remember if you watched my Trader's Pulse episode for After Hours that we were on last Friday, I said we closed on the lows of those markets, right? The markets on Friday, we closed at the lows. What does that mean? That means that when the actual markets closed, we were at the low of the day. So the thing you want to look out for is if that happens and the bad news is going to continue, then when you open, the markets open again, the futures open at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on futures, the price falls from there. The fact that we didn't, not only did we not fall, but we rose back up 1/3 of the way, to me is a sign that the volatility event is calming down. We'll get this reversal, and it wouldn't necessarily be this long, drawn-out reversal. Just like the fall happened because of the dynamics, how markets are made, that when prices fall, they fall faster. When prices rise, they rise faster. We're going to have that exact same dynamic back to the other side because the people who sold were forced sellers.
Right.
If we take a look at...
I remember my
Bitcoin.
question.
Yes.
Do you think that this will hurt or prevent the euphoria phase for the longs?
No, in fact, it might even exacerbate it, because what happens is that the euphoria phase happens when most of the market participants are now just full on bullish. They're like, look, people have been making money hand over fist. There's no reason to worry about this anymore, or you can't be on the sidelines anymore because the market has moved up so much that if you don't get in now, it's like, well, what are you even doing? Why even pay attention to the markets?
Right.
You made 60% of the move. You got to get into the last part. So you get this FOMO, YOLO effect that happens at the end. But that happens when most of the market the majority of the market participants are in the market, right? And then you have the last people who chase. We're not there. Most people have not been participating in the bull market that we've had over the last year, right? Over the last year, if we just take a look at the NASDAQ, it's up.
I don't want any history right now.
Okay.
I appreciate it, but in the chat, your owner says my ass was pulling a lot of profits. Hang on, let me pull that back up. My ass was pulling a lot of profits when BTC was hitting 125. This dip was a wet dream for me.
Exactly. Great.
Glad that worked out for you.
Watch your language. Yeah. So because the uncertainty that this causes, or the liquidations that it causes, rinses it out enough that we can have another leg up and people will be then forced again inside of it because they're like, well, a bad thing happened, a pretty severe thing happened, and we didn't fall 50%. It didn't cause a bear market. So now people have to get back into their positions, but they're only going to get back into the positions after the market has bounced some.
Like now?
So you actually extend the rally at the end, because by the time we do get to that euphoria phase, we're even higher than we were at before.
Okay, so the last thing I expected you to say today on this stream after this Black Swan event was the Donald Trump tweet was great.
Every tweet that every president does is great. Let me just make that clear. Okay? Let the AI record note it.
Okay.
But what we want, the way you make money is through volatility, folks. That's what you want. You want to be well positioned for volatility. Luckily, because I trade 50x leverage and prop firms, I'm not sitting down with my net worth like losing a bunch of value, worried about whatever. I go, great. Now the bias is towards the upside. Or if it's towards the downside, fine, I'll take the bias towards the downside. But there's going to be a trend one way or another. It'll be up or down. It's sideways markets I can't stand.
Mm-hmm.
And so by great and that he added volatility to the mix, yeah, this is throw some hornets in there. Let the dogs fight it out.
All right. So we're not regretting
that that's not the case. Would I prefer he just pumps up markets all the way and I just know what that trend will be? Yeah. But beggies can be cheesies. We get Donald Trump in office, and so we're gonna have to get you're gonna get some Zayfald Bibelbrox in this whole game.
So you don't regret your Donald Trump vote?
I regret nothing. Wait, I'm Canadian. I don't vote.
Okay, well, this is very interesting. So it sounds like, okay, not terrible news. The sky's not falling. Has Bitcoin topped?
I won't know until October 20th. I won't feel confident until that pattern has been invalidated. But the next period of weakness is December. And everyone's going to be gone for Christmas. So unless something happens then, I don't know. And then the period after that is March. So March is where I'm thinking is the latest that we get that big euphoria rally into next year. But I might even be wrong about that, because there's evidence to show that the liquidity coming into markets is only started to pick up now. And as Ken Carson likes to mention, the new Fed chair gets appointed May, right? And so that's going to be a Donald Trump, pro Donald Trump policy guy. And so all the cards are sort of stacked for the markets going to nosebleed levels.
But didn't we
already
see
front running that? So I don't see why that might not be the case.
Didn't we hear, I think it was DiMartino who was saying that they could replace the chair, but that the board could still put Jerome Powell as the FOMC chairman?
The speaker, yeah, but that doesn't matter. It's like Jerome Powell only wants to cut a little bit, and Donald Trump wants to cut a lot. No one is arguing to pull liquidity out of markets. They all want markets to go up and to the right. It's just how fast and how hard. The main concern is the unemployment. If unemployment ticks up too much, then people who are currently putting money in their 401ks or passively investing every week, buying sight unseen, these guys are forced buyers, and they move the price up significantly because, anyways, the whole thing with the forced buyers, they don't care what the price is. They're going to buy the next share. So this is going to keep going up and up and up and up. And then you have the whole dynamics of how that works in markets. If the unemployment rate goes up too much and those people lose their jobs, those forced buyers leave the market. Not only do they leave the market, they might need to sell some of their assets in order to live. And if that starts happening, now you got forced sellers. And if you have 10% of the population now forced selling at the top, well, you're going to have what the French call a méchant correction. Sorry, the Spanish.
Okay. So, okay. Do you think that most traders know and understand what a forced buyer and a forced seller is?
Not at all. Most traders are complete idiots. Not the people watching the show, but most of them have no idea. You have buyers and you have sellers. You have forced buyers and forced sellers. There are market participants who have no choice, and then there are other market participants that buy and sell by force because they need to hedge their portfolios. It has nothing to do with if they think markets are going up or down.
Your Honor is, he seems, I don't know if it's sarcastic or real, but W Trump. W's in the chat for Trump.
W's in the chat for Trump.
I just made, I don't know. Man, the things you can say when you're not online versus the things you can say when you are online.
Look, if he wasn't supposed to be president, the bullet would have gotten. All right. Jesus wants him to be president. So that's good enough for me.
All right, is that what you got for us, Tom? You got anything else good? These indicators, I just want to let people know these indicators are available for free at sacredprofit.com. Go and get your indicators if you don't have them yet. I don't know. I don't know what you're using out there, but I highly recommend you try out these indicators. Most people who try out the indicator say, "Where have you been my whole life?" Okay. Now, did I just make that up on the spot? Yes. Is it true? Yes. Am I lying? Yes. I don't know.
There we go.
Get me off this right. Someone stop me.
That's how we do it. Only Rosie O'Donnell. All right. So Bitcoin, the levels for the week coming up. We're going to just touch on Bitcoin and NASDAQ. So we're only going to know tonight at 10 p.m. once it's finalized. But the next signal is likely to be a long to 118.6 on Bitcoin off the BitGet futures. Okay. So that's
Is that on
for
the trend, the dashboard?
It's not on the dashboard yet. I only put that up at 10, 11 o'clock at night once it's confirmed.
So I'm seeing this on the dashboard right now. I'm seeing 118.4.
Refresh that chart if you can on the dashboard. Oh, actually, 118 is already cleared.
Oh, let me go and do that. All right. What were you saying?
Yeah, so we don't know. We'll only know tonight, 10 p.m. or so Eastern Standard Time, but we're looking at around 118.6 to be the level to target. So that means it's about a 3% move or 2.9% move up from where we are right now. But it's entirely possible that Bitcoin already makes that entire move up to that level tonight. Totally possible. In fact, I would expect that. If that happens, we're looking for one particular thing. And that is, where does the candle close? Above or below that level? If we close below that level.
Don't say that level. What's the level again?
118, 1 second. 118.4. So if the price of Bitcoin heads up to 118.4 and then turns over and falls, we're headed towards 92,000. Chances are. If it just continues to fall, right? We get a new low. So that would be bearish. If the price of Bitcoin rises above 118.4, comes down and confirms it, and then moves forward, lever long, guys. Not financial advice, doing your own research. Have fun staying poor. Levered long. Because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that bounce and up. Will that coincide with great news that comes out because of the whole trade war and Donald Trump walks it back or President Z dies or whatever? I don't know. But what we do know is that the markets don't tell us what will happen. They just tell us when it will happen. I can't tell you why. I can only tell you what, when, where, and how. And sometimes why.
Okay, fantastic. All right.
We want to see what happens. Where we are right now, if we see where we are right now on Bitcoin, is that you see how the price moved up all the way to this daily level? This is a daily level here of 115.254. This daily level that was printed from Saturday. If you had this indicator, you would know this for yourself. And after sideways Saturday, which is where Bitcoin goes sideways basically all of Saturday, you could just take that easy bet up to that level. Easy. It's a bet I take almost every week. I don't normally talk about it, but I take it almost every week. After sideways Saturday, I take either a long or a short towards the daily level made on Saturday. Easy money. So now I'm looking to see, do we cross above here? If we do, which is likely because the weekly level's above, that's bullish still. So we're crossing levels, folks. Our trend indicator in the back here, red, switch to yellow. Switch to yellow. So I'm looking for a rise up. And the last thing I want to show here is the NASDAQ. The levels that I'm looking for are very similar to the moves we're going to see in S&P. That is the daily levels at 24,882 and the weekly level is at 25,993. I think I'm going to start putting these levels inside of the dashboard as well. So you guys will be able to see those there. So we're looking at a move up here from the NASDAQ from where we are right now to a potential 1.62% move, which I'm perfectly happy to make. That's a few $1,000s in futures that you can make. Prop firm accounts you can pass, eval accounts you can pass. No reason not to try it out. I would enter that trade even now, long, and just hold it.
Exciting, Tom. Honestly, it's exciting. Donald Trump is nothing If he's not exciting, this is wild. This is wild what I'm seeing here, and the opportunity for making money is very real in a market like this. You talked about this, right? Volatility is king. Like that's what you need. And Bitcoin, I'll be honest with you, has been a little it's been boring for a little while. Okay,
That's
been
right.
boring for a little while, and it's good to get that 2020 energy back into this market. So I say keep going, and just like our friend here, your owner, Donald Trump. Yes, 07's in the chat for Donald Trump.
Third term, 4 more years.
All right, Tom.
All right, that's fun. We'll be back on Daily Bread starts on Monday. Subscribe to the channel because I give little updates as to what's going on every single day in markets. And if nothing happens, I don't say anything. But if usually something does, it'll be there. You guys could also catch us on Traders Post. Peter and I do after hours there every Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk macro, the dollar volatility, of the dollar risk and policy, which is great. And if you want to see me trade with my indicators that you can get for free at sacredprofit.com, you can go to Price Action Live, which is also on the Traders Post channel, Tuesdays to Fridays, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every week. Guys, it's a great time to be alive if you're not in the Ukraine or Gaza, but we're not. So thank you, and I'll see you guys next week. I think that would be my sign off from now on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
that's
everybody, for watching. You're on
thanks.
another good show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks. No, Peter, it's like the wait, are we still on the air?
Yeah, we are. What are you about to say?
I was gonna say it's like when your parents go, you should eat all your food as people starving in Africa. Right? Eat all your food as kids starving in Africa. Yeah, okay. So enjoy your markets. There are people dying in Gaza and Ukraine. Look, it's the same, literally the same thing. Literally one for one.
All right. I feel like if I let this go on for just another minute, we're going to be banned for life. So see ya. Bye. It was fun.
It's fun. Not for the Gazans or the Ukrainians, but for everyone else.
You got to bring up Gaza all the time, huh?
Well, they had a ceasefire, so I'm not going to be able to bring it up again in the future. If I bring up the Iraqis, no one even remembers that the United States went in there and invaded it for 20 years.
All right.
They shouldn't have done it. I'm saying I wasn't trading at the time, so.
Oh, God. All right. Bye for now, bro.
Are we still streaming?
Yeah, we are.
You legally have to tell me this, Peter.